without feeling fearful.
Wow. You know, Duncan, there's a couple things I want to mention. One is the mother probably had no idea she did this much damage to her daughter at that moment. I bet it didn't even register in her mother that she did anything to her daughter.
No, she didn't. She wouldn't have known that.
And we can be holding on to something fear-related in an unconscious way for almost our whole life long. And when it shows its head, it paralyzes us in some fashion.
Yes, it does. And
can you explain how tapping helped this girl in relations to her mother?
No, all it does is it resets the thought. It resets that moment when her mum grabbed her hand. It sort of makes peace with that feeling of her mum. It takes the feeling of that the mind remembers, and the mind does remember absolutely everything, and it gives you back peace about that very moment. Once that peace has come, then there's no fear of water, because that was where, the mind flagged up that moment with her mum by saying, now there's a fear of water because it's very dangerous, because all around me there was issues, and all you do is you just reset that fearful thought. That's all you do, and it's like rebooting a computer.
Yeah, I can see how this reboot or this reset would work in cases of phobias, of fear of flying, of water, tigers, spiders, and giraffes, big giraffes. Kind of standing around looking at me. However, when there are people who have been the recipient of violence, that have been raped, violated in some fashion, can tapping help these individuals as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it can. Again, it's an emotion. Rape is an emotion. Yes, you can never take away the actual fact that it happened, that the abuse, whatever that may be, happened. But you can take away how the mind. This is not how you do it. This is how the mind deals with it. Okay. Say for abuse, the mind will then, flag up this thing that everybody must be, watched, or must be fearful in case it happens again. And that is not how it should be. You are allowed to get on with your life after an event, okay? But what we need to do is take out the negativity of that event. You can take away the thought or the realization that rape or abuse has gone on, but you can take away the fearful, negative feelings around it. And this is proved out by a lot of people who have gone through abuse and have actually said, you know what, it happened, I'll get on with my life. Sometimes what our brains do is they keep flagging this up all the time, and because our minds don't like to be out there, they like the comfort zone rather than anything else. So they tend to quite like us just live in a box and do nothing. So when something comes along like a rape or an abuse, then sometimes the mind, it doesn't allow you to then get on with your life. Whereas what tapping can do is take away that negativity of the fearful thought of the next rape, because actually it's the fear of feeling fearful.
Yeah, I could see that you're unlocking the fear around the event, so the person could continue moving on.
That is exactly. In a lovely, perfect world, what we could do is we could sit down with the assailant, and then we could talk with them, and then it would be nice for the assailant to be able to say, look, I'm so sorry, I done wrong, but that doesn't happen. So instead of living that fearful day in, day out, and remember, every time you feel fearful, it puts a massive strain on the body, and it can really do damage to the body. Mm-hmm. With all those thoughts running around, and tapping done in the correct way can actually take away. It can allow you to walk away from the incident. Yes, it happened, but you're no longer held by resentment, by fear, by guilt, by all of these other negativities. It just allows you to get up, say, yeah, you know what, but life goes on, and my life is going to go on.
Gosh, that sounds so attractive.
It is, actually. Honestly, I've been doing this, properly since about 2008, and it still amazes me how easily it goes in, and not just with, phobias and things like that, but with anything, pain-related issues, Headaches are so easily, got rid of, things like that.
Headaches too. So physical experiences or physical pains.
Yeah. I talked to a lady a couple of years ago, actually. She had an issue with her neck. She couldn't get her head up. It was leaning over to one side, and it had been like that for 15 years. And she'd been to the doctors and the hospitals, and I used to do talks on this, and she just happened to turn up for a talk, and so we'd done a little bit of tapping on, because every time she tried to lift her neck up, there was this pain, of really excruciating pain, and we'd done a couple of rounds of tapping, and nothing seemed to touch it. So I asked her how this happened, and she said, it was a friend of mine said he could do osteopath things, and he'd been trained, and she said he wasn't very good. Yeah, she said, in fact, he left me, she said, in a lot of pain. And I said, okay, let's just tap on the fact that he'd done that to you. He was a friend. And so we just said, we just worked on the fact that he shouldn't have done this, and he was an idiot, and in her own words, these were. And after one round of tapping, suddenly she could move her neck with so much freedom. And she started to cry and get a little bit upset. But because suddenly she felt good, it was almost like the emotion of the moment with her friend who wasn't very good at doing these, this particular thing that he could do, left her neck, and then she was able to get her neck more straight, and the pain left as well. So what I'm trying to say is that most things in our bodies, ailments and everything else, are generated because of the way we think or how we think we've been treated.
Okay, so tapping is taken into account all levels of the human being, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional person is all included with the tapping.
Yeah, and especially the emotion, because the emotions is where we are an emotional being, not, we are full of emotions. We're either full of love, full of, everything else, and you can be full of hate and, or resentment and these negative issues that keep you, when you're full of negativity, you're tense all the time, and this tenseness, brings on and leads on to more physical issues because you're pounding the body with different ideas.
Duncan, are you familiar with a book by the name of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about this in the last broadcast. Is Eckhart Tolle in his book talks about this pain body that we have, that we all suffer from. It's kind of like a collective pain. Can tapping help a people who are mistrusting or fearful of another people, culture versus another culture?
Yes, I mean I do think it can, definitely, but I think to go out now and with a tap and book and say, look, why don't we all sit around a table and tap? I think, yeah, they probably would. Mistrust comes from being scared, being fearful of being taken for an idiot or being taken completely by somebody else that they feel is, going to hurt them. I think tapping can help these things, but I think you've got to go back. We need to be teaching tapping to our children in schools. And, I mean, my son always gets bombarded with I always show tap on it. And and I think if you're a child and you grow up and you know that there's a particular way that you're able to get rid of these unwanted, fearful, or anything negative in their lives, if they can work on it, then you are going to grow up as a more, how can I say, allowing, accepting, forgiving person. I think our particular has messed things up, but I don't see that the next generation coming up has to do that. And I think therapies like this, or that are quick and easy to do, and is I think sky's the limit. I think this is the start of getting to people and being able to heal their idea of who they are and who their brothers are, as it were. I think do a lot of good work.
That's amazing. How about children? I'm just thinking of situations where children are either bullied, by other individuals at school, and bullies and tyrants and people that are abusive in general seem to seek out for people who are afraid. They're walking around with a sense of fear, and then they pick up on this and they start picking on that individual. So tapping can help children to gain confidence.
Yes, it can, especially if you're being bullied and you daren't go and tell the teacher. There's a fear that this bully's going to come back. I mean, you can use tapping to take down that fearful feeling. And then, see, you wouldn't tell somebody else based on fear of what might happen. If you got rid of that fear of what might happen, you're more then able to go off and say, well, actually, that person over there is making my life a misery. And then...
And go punch him.
If that's how...
No, I would rather a peaceful solution.
I think once you cloak of fear of anyone in any situation, we're able to see... And this is the lovely thing about it, and not just about this technique, but the very fact that once you lift a negative or a fearful feeling from somebody, they automatically know the right thing to do. They kind of know that, well, violence isn't the way, but going to tell somebody is the way, or in actual fact, taking it straight to the person, because they're now not, they feel less fearful, so they can go to the person and explain what it is that how that person is making them feel by their bullying.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the same. In the coaching world, there's a principle that we work with, is that we believe that all people are naturally resourceful.
Yeah.
And it seems like in the tapping world, you embrace that same belief.
Yeah, everybody is equal, and everybody is worthy of everything that they could ever want. The only thing that ever stops us doing anything is there's the fact we don't think, one, that we're good enough, or we're worthy, or that we think something's going to happen if we go out there and try. All techniques like this do, and there are many techniques like, this tapping or EFT or anything else. They all work the same thing. They just take away that idea, that fearful idea, or that things won't work, or that you're not worthy to do this, or be happy, or have abundance, or anything else. That's all it does. It allows you to see you in your true magnificence. And because we all are magnificent, there's none of us that aren't worthy of this or that or whatever we want.
You are listening to Tapping with Duncan Weir. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi, I'm Pixie Lawson.
Authenticity Radio.
You are listening to Slade Suiter.
Authenticity Radio, where honesty is refreshing, phoniness out of style, and the only thing available on today's menu,
well, I'll be honest with you for a second,
is the freedom to express who you truly are.
Are you ready to get real?
Authenticity Radio.
Hi, this is Ronald D. Moore, writer of Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, and you are listening to Authenticity Radio with Slade Suiter.
And now we return to Tapping with Duncan Weir. I hear the conviction and the passion in your voice.
Yeah, I do. I genuinely, I love to do it. And I love seeing the look on their face when they say, well, actually, I've got a very bad headache, or, oh, no, I can't do that, I'm scared of this, or whatever. And you work with them for a few minutes, and then you go, how does that feel now? And they smile, and they go, oh, wow, I don't believe it. Even long held over many, many years of holding a phobia or a phobic, subject that can be gone in a matter of minutes, literally. I think the best I had was I'd done one round of tapping, and this particular lady couldn't go for a blood test, and because she just couldn't, and just looking at a needle would literally make her faint. In fact, you couldn't even, because part of the technique is where we say what our issue is. So in this respect, we would say something like, even though I have a fear of needles, I completely love and accept myself. She couldn't say that. So what I had to do was I said, well, I'll tell you what, you just tap on this, on these points that I show you. Just follow me. Don't say anything. I'll say it for you. And it works. It's amazing. You can tap for other people.